Alright, one thing I think we can really do if we want to build the liberty movement is anybody that's a fiscal conservative like me, or, if you believe in true economic freedom, we like to trash welfare and, other programs that do a lot more harm than they do good. Ron Paul's taught us all that. He's definitely not a big, welfare guy at all. One thing I think we should try and focus on is a lot of people are very quick to blame the poor people, or the working class people. Well, the people who are responsible for our economic problems are not the poor and the working class. The only thing they've done is be stupid, and they're stupid enough to vote in people like Obama and George Bush, and even then, that's not just them. That's over 90% of Americans, that are voting that way. The real enemies are the bankers, not all bankers, of course, but the big investment ones, the Federal Reserve people, the usually wealthy government employees, and people who work for, defense contractors, people who are, they're so in the system that they're totally dependent on it, and they're not even welfare people. These are just people who they somehow figured out a way to do better by mooching off of the government and taking from the rest of us. In many ways, they're scamming the poor and the working class out of their money because, if you're poor or you're working class, you could go and go to the factory, or you go to a real job, something where you produce something and do some good for a person. Where these government employees, bankers, and defense contractor types, they just go out and they get a big check from the government, and their job is to steal from us, be tax enforcers. For the defense contractor people, their job is to, design things to bomb other countries, and the bankers, well, they don't do anything. They just move around the money that the Fed gave them. Again, this isn't all bankers. I'm not saying your community bank guy is, but the big investment banks, they've rigged it in their favor. So a strategy we can use to be successful is I'm not saying we should come out and say we support welfare type things for poor people or, anything like that. We need to focus our attention on the real people who imploded the economy, which is the government and banker, defense contractor, alliance, everybody who is dependent on the government, and something they've lobbied for. It's not like the poor people are going out to the government every single day and saying, let me write you a check, I'll help you if you help me. They do that with their vote every 4 years, but the people making the corrupt deals aren't the average Joe. They're just the they're the bankers, and everyone who is the unions, because the unions do not represent the working people. There's evidence on that. You can go look, the government unions and how there's a divide between them and the private sector unions. But any group of Americans that has a lobbying association go out for them, where it's corrupt, they're rigging deals with the government, they're cutting deals with them to improve, their standing and their favor with the government to make money. That's not how 90% of Americans operate every day. Most of us will have to go to work and actually produce something. The same can't be said for the bankers, the fat cats, the in a real general sense, this applies to a lot of the other corporations. Some of them are welfared up. Like the oil industry, I consider myself, a proponent of oil, but the oil companies they're bilking the taxpayer. They get billions and billions. The same thing with the renewable people. They get, they get a disproportionate share because they hardly produce any energy at all, and they get a huge subsidy. So when you make videos or when you make posts, you can't do this all the time, but sometimes I think we should just try and focus, like Ron Paul did, on the corrupt alliance between the government, big business, big money. If we can do that, the working people are on the side of liberty. You can go look at the Iowa results, and you see that Ron Paul, or at least this is what someone told me, Ron Paul, he won a lot of the rural counties, like where the backbone of America is. Let me go look at the results. 2008 Iowa primary results. I know this is true. I just want to, say that I'm not just taking this on someone's word. But someone gave me some crap about that, and I said I haven't read the whole thing, but I know what's in it. I guess that's me not doing my duty. Iowa caucus, 2012. Okay. No. Gosh. Here we go. Check this out. You can just look and you can see Ron Paul's winning some of these rural counties. They're doing well in them. And you know, it's the big cities that Mitt Romney has got a grip on, or Rick Santorum had a grip on. So anyway, just keep it in mind. Don't be so quick to trash the poor people when all they're doing, or the middle class, or anybody who's not connected in the system just for taking a Social Security check. They're not the ones who are asking for those benefits every single day and going to the government saying, please, my business is going to fail. We can't compete in the market, so we need a subsidy. Focus on them like Ron Paul did. That got him more votes than I think he would have ever even imagined. That's all I've got to say. Go look at these Iowa results if you want to, or any other results. Liberty is popular with everybody, except those at the top who are mooching off of the government, and they know that they're doing it. They're asking for it, and they're begging for it every day. Thanks for watching.